West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
Love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
9 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights and hottest takes from the right, left, and center. It's a great day. Broncos getting a win last night. We're going to talk with Blake Olson here
Somebody
in a
was
second.
in the game. Somebody here. Jeff got to go to the game.
That's because
so that is so cool.
my friends know that if last minute opportunity,
Yeah.
go, yeah, throw down.
Oh,
No
that is
sleep
fantastic.
last night?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Jeff's riding with like no sleep. He's pulling like the old college days. It's fantastic this morning. He comes in
We
a
had a
little
lot of fun.
bleary-eyed, and he's like, "That game was amazing. It was so cool. I'm so happy you got to go, my
Let's
friend.
debate.
That is wonderful. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Let's get to the phone lines. Marcus Aurora. Good morning, Marcus. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, what's on your mind, man?
I'm with Billy on this side, Jeff. You know, I look at a lot of things, and these days, our younger people have to work 3 jobs because they don't want to give them the benefits. I work for a major hospital, and EVS and everything, it's all Hispanic, and they got part-time, except for management. And then I think about this too, you know, either we're going to be rich or poor. And then Sherwood Williams now came out, they're not going to match their employees' 401ks. So you tell me.
Ouch. That hurts. I'm sorry. On a side note, Marcus, that hurts because when the employer, part of the deal inside of that 401k is the contribution from the employer, because that's how you are supposed to be incentivized to put the money away, other than the fact that it is pre-tax. And so all of us could open up a Roth IRA, but the reason you have the 401k is because you're deriving that benefit of the employer as well, helping you out. And then coming in and saying, hey, we're not doing that, it invalidates most of the principle of why it's there in the first place. That hurts, my friend. That's a real kick to the gooch. I'm sorry about that.
Now, Marcus, are you concerned? I think this was part of the effort to get Donald Trump elected, is that we're not a producing nation anymore. We don't build things. We're a consuming nation. So, yes, you can get toilet paper delivered directly to your front door, but you got to work 3 jobs in order to pay for it. The jobs don't pay that well. And the system's just not working. Are you concerned about that?
Yeah, and Jeff, look at it. And you got kids, and I got kids and grandkids. I look at this, and it's getting out of hand. And when you got to work 3 jobs so you do not get the full benefits for medical and that, you tell me what you think.
Well, what do you think changed, Marcus, from, let's go 1960s, 1970s, good paying job, a starter home, you could work or you could raise a family on a single income. What in your mind caused that to change?
It's hard to describe that because coming through those times are different. And those were different generations. And people were, really loyal and everything. And it's like all of a sudden we're in a civil war where, you could have 2 parties and everybody agreed on everything. But now it came to that point, everybody's on their own. And that's totally wrong.
Well, Marcus, just a second ago, you were talking about loyal, and it sounded like you were talking about employers and employees being loyal. Is there that I think that's part of it, rather than the politics side of it. Look at the structure that we now have inside a business. During that time in the 60s, 70s, 80s, the idea was you put in the 25 years, you get the gold watch, you got the pension, but we have taken that away. There is no pension, just as you outlined at the beginning of the conversation, that your employer is no longer going to match the money you're trying to save, let alone a pension where the employer would be footing the bill for most of that. Now they're not even contributing to your savings. Now, when we all sit here and we're lamenting in the conversation that, oh my gosh, that people just aren't getting ahead. I did a quick search. Last 5 years, the U.S. has created over 1 million millionaires. Somebody's winning. The question really here is, why isn't it you? That's the question. This economy is producing. We have created 1 million millionaires in the last 5 years. The question isn't about the U.S. economy failing and not having the ability to make us win. The question is how we've decided who the winners and losers are. That's the core question here.
Yeah, Billy, I used to be loyal to the people I work for.
Yeah.
And in the last, it sounds bad. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to look out for you, but I'm not loyal to them anymore because of stuff I see.
Yeah, here's the thing for me, man. I am loyal to the people that I work with. I know the company, whatever name is on that paycheck, can decide that I am extraneous material at any point in time for whatever reason. And I've had that happen, both for good reasons and absolutely bad market reasons. I've been on either end of that, but I understand how this relationship works. I will do, like, there are people here at this station that if it is something in the middle of the night and I need to get my ass out of bed and I need to do something for the radio station, not a problem, because I'm loyal to the people that I work with. I'll do whatever I can for my coworkers. The company, I understand exactly how far their care for me, my family, and my employment goes. And that's exactly what I'll return.
I want to bring it back to the original discussion, which was about cheap labor, okay, and what that's done to this country, because you have a generation that's coming up that's more obese, suffering from more mental health, that's more in debt and more drug addicted than at any point in American history. You have greater globalization that's taken place than at any point in world history. And you don't have the job opportunities. You don't have the stability that's taken place in all this. So what do you do in light of this reality? So Bill's right. You got more millionaires happening
Jeff,
there.
You said it. Jeff, you said it. They need full-time jobs with security. And without that, it's going to get worse.
And we're at a place, this is why I think conservatives traditionally against tariffs are kind of looking at it going, all right, the globalization that took place, the global market out there allowed us to get really cheap widgets, fill our basement with crap from China, yet we're more depressed, unemployed, more drug addicted, more suicidal than we've ever been before. Something's got to change. Marcus, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Marcus.
All right. Marcus's line will be open, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now is time for news and comment with Mr. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good Tuesday morning, 57 and sunny up and down the Front Range, and in Denver expecting a high of 78 today, may get up to 80. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story.
Thank you very much, Pete. Great job you're doing, too. Fantastic job. I've never walked into a room so silent before. This is very... Don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're not allowed to do that. You know what? Just have a good time. And if you want to applaud, you applaud. And if you want to do anything you want, you can do anything you want. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave the room. Of course, there goes your rank, there goes your future.
DJT says he and the military are a team, and together they are reawakening the warrior spirit. He addressed top military leaders in Quantico, Virginia this morning. Trump said the military will become stronger and faster over the next few years.
But together with many of you in the room, we've brought back the fundamental principle that defending the homeland is the military's first and most important priority. That's what it is. Only in recent decades did politicians somehow come to believe that our job is to police the far reaches of Kenya and Somalia, while America is under invasion from within. We're under invasion from within. No different than a foreign enemy, but more difficult in many ways because they don't wear uniforms. At least when they're wearing a uniform, you can take them out. These people don't have uniforms.
Could be a government shutdown tonight at midnight. DJT this morning before he headed to talk to military leaders.
If there is a shutdown, how many federal workers do you plan to lay off?
Well, we may do a lot, and that's only because of the Democrats. And as you know, they want to be able to take care of people that have come into our country illegally, and no system can handle that. And so we're totally opposed on that. But we can't take it. We just can't do it. I'd love to do everybody. I'd love to do the whole world. But our country can't handle people that come into our country illegally. And they want to give them full health care benefits. They want to open the wall again. Can you believe it? I can't even believe it. They want to open the wall. They haven't taken away boys playing in women's sports. They haven't done that. Men playing in women's sports. It's like they don't change. They lost an election in a landslide, and they don't change.
12:01 tonight is the deadline. The administration is also planning to deport hundreds of Iranian nationals. According to Iran's foreign ministry, authorities had planned to deport about 400 Iranians currently living in the United States, most of whom entered illegally. 47 is set to announce a direct-to-consumer drug buying website called Trump RX today. The Trump RX website will serve for Americans, and they will be able to purchase certain drugs at a discounted price negotiated by the government. The father of the 40-year-old Michigan man who murdered 4 people and injured 8 others in the mass shooting at the Mormon church is apologizing. Thomas Sanford is the father, and he says he feels terrible about all the families who have been hurt and said it has been a nightmare. Monday Night Football last night at Mile High.
15 yards away from 100 yards is Dobbins. How many is that, Speeda?
Yeah, he got it. J.K. Dobbins rushed for 101. The Broncos' first 100-yard rusher in 38 outings. R.J. Harvey had 98 yards and a touchdown reception. Broncos are 2-2. Bo Nix ran for a touchdown, threw for 326 yards, 2 touchdowns to lead them, the Orange and Blue, to a 28-3 victory over the Bengals, who look horrible right now without their starting quarterback, Joe Burrow. Head coach Sean Payton on Dobbins rushing for 100.
Do you try to get it? I was not. In fairness, those things come up more at the end of the season, usually, where there are bonuses involved or records. But I wasn't aware that. I just knew he was running well. I knew we were running the ball well. So it was his turn up. I think Patrick told me on the way into the tunnel.
Yep. And they ran the ball extremely well, and that was key for the Broncos last night. Dolphins ground the Jets, and Aurora's own Mike McDaniel, who is the head coach of the Dolphins, survives another week. Brush School District Superintendent Marcia Cody says school will be back to normal today after a suspicious device was found Sunday in Brush School District RE2J. The incident closed down all school facilities to the public on Monday as the Greeley bomb squad investigated a possible pipe bomb. Officials say the unit was empty and built from household products. They believe it may have been left as trash. All right, part 4, Jason Whitlock. He hates that Bad Bunny will be the Super Bowl halftime entertainment. I'm right there with him. He wants to boycott the Super Bowl. Let's go.
They're destroying babies. That's what this is about. Hey, we're going to bring Bad Bunny to the halftime, the biggest platform in all of American popular culture, maybe the biggest platform in all of global culture, and we're going to have a drag show with somebody named Bad Bunny. Someone's got to be fired. This cannot be tolerated. We can't just look the other way. We can't just, well, it's the NFL, and I love to gamble.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jason. 56 in North Glen, 55 in Lakewood, 57 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Beautiful weather to end September, and the first couple of days of October look pretty good as well. Mostly sunny to partly sunny. Temperatures in the upper 70s, lows tonight near 50, and highs 70s to the lower 80s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Slight chance of an isolated shower or two today, likely dry Wednesday and Thursday. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Phone lines remain hot. Let's go back to him. John, Denver. Good morning, John. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, Jeff. How's it going?
What's on your mind, John?
I was going to talk to you about your immigration stance.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you ever been to the facility in Aurora?
I have. Yep, interviewed folks outside of the ICE detention facility in Aurora. Yep.
Yeah, because you seem to giggle about it, and it seems like you feel it's a good place.
Well, I think it's great.
You do?
Oh, yeah. Do you have concerns about it?
Yeah, my wife was there.
Your wife's there now, or was there?
No, she was there.
Yeah. And what did she run into? What was the problems that she ran into?
Everyone that goes there, they get sick from the food that they eat. They feed them bad food. Everybody gets sick. And the people that are there, they're not criminals like your favorite president says that they're rapists, drug dealers.
Well, why are they in the immigration detention facility?
Why was my wife there?
Sure.
Yeah, my wife was there because they canceled her visa. She had a legal visa to be in the United States, and they canceled it. They didn't notify us. We weren't notified, and then the ICE people showed up at my house and arrested my wife. They didn't show us. They didn't show us warrants. They didn't show us papers. They handcuffed her. They were on my property illegally, and they took her away from me.
And
you think that's funny?
Where is she now? No, I don't think it's particularly funny.
She got deported.
Back down to Mexico. Did you hire an attorney to fight it or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm hiring one now. But there's no due process, and the things that are happening in our country aren't legal under our country's laws. And you think it's funny, and I don't think it's funny.
Well, okay, Adam, I'm not sure I think I've said that this case is funny. I mean, what have I said that's funny?
You giggle about it all the time. That, all these people are getting deported. It's so great.
Yeah, I do think that if you're here illegally and you're being deported, that's a good thing. Do you not think that's a good thing?
I do too. But my wife was here legally. You're not listening to me. She was here legally.
And what visa was she under? Was she on a traveling visa? Was she under a education visa? She didn't have a green card, did she? And she wasn't.
A
Go ahead.
tourist visa. A tourist visa.
And did she overstay it?
No.
So she was. How long was she on a tourist visa for? If you guys had gotten married and she was your wife?
We got married in February.
And how long was her tourist visa for?
I'm not sure, but it was still a valid visa. I don't know exactly what the time was, but it was a valid visa.
And the country can determine that you need to leave at any point. If you're on a visa, the country can go, today your visa's done, you're heading home.
Yeah, and the question I've got is, did they tell you at any point in time the reason for the cancellation? Normally, again, that would be in the paperwork, but you said you didn't receive the paperwork. In the process, have they ever notified you or the family as far as the reason of the cancellation for the visa? I'm just curious.
Nope, we weren't notified.
Huh.
We weren't notified. That just I showed up on a Saturday, and they arrested her. Five black cars with black windows, and all these guys in bandanas jumped out.
Now this may not be fair.
Her.
This may not be fair, John, but I'm hearing a lot of pain and a lot of emotion in your voice, and I totally understand it. And personally, it's some of the pain and emotion that I feel on the subject over who we're picking up. And Jeff and I have had this conversation before, and anybody who was watching NFL games over the course of the weekend knows exactly where I'm going. There were advertisements that aired during the NFL schedule that talked to Denver police officers saying, if you're unhappy and you feel constrained about the sanctuary policies here, join ICE, because there we're going after, and this is what the graphic said, the worst of the worst. And the graphic on the TV screen then outlined the gang bangers and outlined the drug dealers and the kidnappers and the human traffickers and the worst of the worst. And where I am having some empathy with your emotions right now, John, is that from everything we know, your wife isn't covered under that advertisement and marketing campaign. Your wife isn't the worst of the worst. Not a gangbanger, not a drug dealer, not kidnapping people, not a human trafficker. And I think that's part of the emotional difficulty that America is having, because when we have ads saying we're going after the worst of the worst, and black cars show up at your house in the morning to arrest your wife who's here on a tourist visa, that's a little different. It's not the promise of expectations.
I'm still confused here. John, did you get married here in America or in Mexico?
No, I got married here in Colorado.
Okay, and
Mother Cabrini Shrine, I got married at
in February. And did you know her before? She's on a tourist visa. Those typically aren't that long. So she's traveling to the United States. Did you guys meet prior to? Well, obviously you met prior to getting married, but was she just traveling here when you guys met?
No, she got several visas. She renewed her visas. She was here for 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
She renewed her visas. She was on a legal visa.
So she was on a tourist visa. She was renewing it. You guys meet, get married. Isn't there a process by which you can apply for a more permanent green card because of your marriage than just a tourist visa?
No, because you have to go through the legal system to get a green card. Is I always thought that if you got married to a foreign person, that they were automatically a United States citizen, but it doesn't work that way. I learned this recently.
Yeah, I mean, I would encourage you to figure out or it sounds like you have an attorney and they can work through these. So, yeah.
No, it's not. It's not a simple process because you have to go. It's going to take 3 to 5 years to get her back to the United States because of the president, your buddy.
And you don't want to go to Mexico?
No. Why would I want to go to Mexico?
Because your wife's there?
Yeah, but I'm a United States citizen.
And have you tried to have any, green card or visa visiting your wife in Mexico?
I'm trying to get a passport, but the government's giving me trouble just to get a passport. In 2009, when I got a passport, it was easy, but they're running me through the ringers right now, trying to get a new passport. I think it's because they deported my wife, and they're taking it out on me.
I wish you the best of luck. Thanks for calling, John. John
Yeah,
Denver,
thanks,
his
John.
line's
It's a
open.
hard story, man.
303-696-1971. Sort of, but I'm kind of like, you take some responsibility. You meet somebody, you're going to get married to them, you want to build a life with them, and you didn't talk to immigration attorneys? You didn't survey what's necessary to do this?
Yeah.
And I don't know the details, so part of this it just seems weird.
Yeah, there seemed to be some of the system that was difficult to navigate or something.
But this idea of they just took her and I don't really know, and we met and we got married, but there's no process for a green card. I don't know.
The other part would be that if they were married and if there is any sort of paperwork with the state or the county, that would also verify the relationship and hopefully slow down the process. But I understand what John was saying about lack of due process. And that is something that we are going to have to confront at some level or another. And I understand the idea of, hey, pick these people up and they're gang members, they're here illegally. They shouldn't necessarily have the due process. But let's say that someone that could be here on a visa or even here legally gets picked up and gets funneled into ICE. At what point in the process do they get a chance to express themselves? If we don't have any due process to those individuals picked up, they never have the chance to raise their hand and talk about it.
I'm not sure that's the case. I don't think you just get swept away. If you're part of a gang, and that was the clarification that Trump got, was that if you're part of TDA or something, you can be on an expedited deportation list. Or if you've crossed 25 times, and every time they take you back, they don't need to do a hearing.
Yeah, because there are some pieces as far as a hearing that I still think the hearing should be necessary, because again, that's a track record. That you have someone, you've identified someone, you have a list. It's like the idea of picking up someone that has a long rap sheet. I can see dealing with that individual different than someone that has no rap sheet.
Right.
The problem having, though, now is that inside the system, the person that has the long rap sheet and the no rap sheet are necessarily treated the same in many cases.
I don't think that's
the issue.
true.
That's the issue. That's what I've seen. So
I don't think that's true. But all right, let's where are we at the time? Okay, goodness.
Yeah, we still got to do the first break.
All right, let's get to Chad. You'll be up next. My goodness, thank you to everybody, because the phone lines are really hot today. All right, you're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Let's go to Chad and Greeley. Good morning, Chad. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Hey, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. Everyone breaks laws. Whether you speed a little bit or you do something, there's always an inherent risk. And immigration is the same thing. It's like, when you come here illegally, there's a risk involved. And if you do it with children, you put your whole family at that risk. If you get married when you're over here and you're illegal, you're opening up your spouse to that liability. It is what it is. Times change, and one administration was lenient, and so the next administration isn't that way. Those are all risks that you take when you do something like that. And I don't blame them. I don't blame people for wanting a better life, but there's a risk with doing things like that.
Now, Chad, based on that risk assessment, I just got an idea, and you've probably heard us talk about this in the Jeff and Bill Show before. I have this premise that because our legal immigration system is so long, drawn out, and complicated, it incentivizes the illegal immigration, the overstaying of visas, the paying the coyote to come in here and sneak across the border, however you get here. I would love to have your impression on this, because you were talking about risk assessment. What's your impression about that idea? Do you think that holds true, or do you push back against it? What are your thoughts?
Well, I've had friends that have immigrated, and it's a long, drawn-out process. You have to answer emails. You have to be on top of your A game. And you're not going to be able to do it half, you're going to have to be the one that's organized, and you're going to have the follow-through, because the system can't do that for you. And so you're going to have a lawyer. You're going to have to figure that stuff out.
But should it take 10 years? And if it takes a decade, is that an incentivization to come here illegally?
Well, the people that I've known that have immigrated, it hasn't taken 10 years, but they were on top of their A game. It hasn't. I'm sure every case is different, and the latest one was about 10 years ago, and I suppose times have changed. But it's on the person to make sure they're organized. You can't miss, you can't miss communications and things like that. Emails, appointments with an attorney. You have to be on top of that. And just to make, you're in it, you're probably not going to make it through the system if if you're not perfect and have follow through and keep hounding it. That's the thing that
I can see that, Chad. Now, here's the thing. Let's make this a little more complicated, because, you listen to the show enough. You know how I like to make things complicated. Let's talk about the difficulty of doing that legal immigration, of hiring the attorney and staying on top of the emails and making sure you go to all the appointments. And let's compare and contrast that to the starting point of the conversation here today, which was a family that was outlined by a local news operation that is leaving Colorado after being here for 3 years illegally and paying a coyote $30,000 in order to gain access to the United States. Now, what I'm saying is, what do you think they had to go through? They probably had to make meetings. They had to come up with a 30 Gs. They had to make payments. They had to get here illegally. They had to show up at the right place at the right time to get on the right thing, to get into the country. So again, that navigation of the system, in some ways, I think that illegal family that is now going home navigated the system with all the same strict scrutiny and rigidity that we were looking for the legal immigration. They just decided they were going to wait a decade.
So you mean to tell me that any of that sounds legitimate to you?
Oh, I didn't say legit. Dude, no, man. I'm not saying legit. What I'm saying is that they both were regimented in their processes and procedures, and they just ended up in different directions. I'm not saying the illegal is legitimate. No, I'm not saying that at all. But,
no. Yeah. Hear me out, Bill.
Yeah, please do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, what part of common sense, like, would you do that to your family? Trust them to a coyote? No. Doing that backwood, you can't do that. You have to do
Here's the
things as
thing.
legal as possible.
Here's the thing, Chad. Here's the thing, man, that it depends on what was happening at home. And this is the thing that I always try to think about when I'm talking about illegal immigrants. I try to figure out what exactly is going to have to be going on in my life for me to take my family, pack up everything we can carry, and walk to Seattle. Because that's kind of what we're talking about in most cases, at least that distance, if not longer. And so I'm kind of looking at what is going to have to happen here in my backyard to make me do that in order to get somewhere illegally. And so the idea being, I understand that it doesn't make any sense common sense wise to us, but if there is a local gang that's knocking on my door saying, your two boys better sign up or they're going to be dead or we're going to take this out on the family, and they're like 9, 10, 11, and they're saying, hey, they got to start showing up here and they got to start being drug runners. If that pressure's on my family and I don't want my kids to fall into that lifestyle, dude, it may be a different choice than you make. I might take that risk. I'm not saying I would. I'm not even saying it's legit. I'm just saying in that situation, I might make the choice, as hard as that is.
I see what you're saying with regards to compassion, but I see your logic there, but at the same point in time, it's like, are we going to be the saving grace for every ounce of evil in the world? We can't afford to do that.
Chad?
That's good, man.
I agree with the premises, and I would do anything for my family, but the United States cannot afford to protect everybody from the evil in the world.
Chad, appreciate the
nice
call.
call, man.
That's Chad from
I like
Greeley.
me some Chad. He should call
Phone
more often.
line is open, 303-696-1971. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
to the Jeff and Bill show. We got full phone lines as we're discussing this family here in Colorado. Heading out. Immigrant family deciding to return to Mexico as the work dries up. Is this a good story? They're self-deporting. Is this what we wanted after 10 million illegal immigrants came over the last few years? They're leaving themselves. Let's go to the phone lines. Johnny, Denver. Good morning, Johnny. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
I don't know if I was at my A game or not, but I didn't hire a lawyer. I met my wife March of 2012. We decided, hey, we're gonna do this thing. Got my visa together. She tried to get her visa, and then they denied her to come here. So I said, okay, then I'll go there. We got married. And then over the 2 years, we did the paperwork. I was going back and forth to Moscow, I think about 6 times. And then she got her visa to come here June of 2014. She got her green card in 2017. But it was like the questions were so easy. And then, well, the civic questions, some of the stuff that she was studying, they gave you a book, CDs, and she studied, and she passed it, and we haven't had any problems since. And I'm not the richest guy in the world, and I know I'm not the brightest bulb in the thing, but we got it done without a lawyer.
Wow. Now, Johnny, I wonder if you guys had an advantage based on going to where she was living and establishing the relationship there as far as marriage, and then trying to get her to immigrate here rather than her being here and then trying to navigate it once you got married. I'm just curious about the system, if that just helped, and again, you don't have to have the knowledge of that. I'm just curious, based on how the system works, that if that relationship is established in the other country, does it somehow make it easier to get through the process than if the relationship is established here? I'm just spitballing. I have no idea.
Okay.
But that's impressive, man. That's really impressive.
Okay. I'll tell you one thing. Okay, when she tried to get the visa, okay, we met in March. She tried to get the visa to come in June of 2012. They said no. Okay. Then when she finally got the visa to come here, they wanted to make sure that she wasn't coming here to freeload on the American dime. So she had property out there. She had her house, and then she had a property that was passed down to her. And when she got here, it took her about 3 months to land the job, and she's been working ever since. So they wanted to know, are you coming to America to freeload, or are you coming to America to do something other than just live off the system?
That's kind of cool, man. And now I appreciate that a lot. And I'm actually having a side conversation with someone on the text messages about asylum and asylum claims and stuff. And I kind of think that rolls into it, that part of how we could get through some of these bogus asylum claims that we're seeing at the border is by really leaning on sponsors here in America. Someone that is going to vouch for them to say, yes, I verify and I vouch that this person isn't going to be here and they're not going to be a freeloader. They're going to get into the system. But I do, more than anything else, I appreciate the fact that when your wife arrived, she turned around and went into work. And the reason that I'm highlighting that is just, Johnny, you and I and Jeff and the rest of the Jeff and Bill show listeners, remember how grand the promises were from Denver Mayor Mike Johnston about the illegal immigrants, how they were going to learn English and get into a work program, and like none of them did. So, yeah. So, again, your wife on her own with you did a hell of a lot better getting into the work and being a productive member of the society than the $1 million programs by Mayor Mike Johnston.
From Johnny, and I think what's important to communicate in all this is you're not dealing with anti-immigrant, right?
Good point.
What you're seeing in America right now is a frustration over wide open borders, stress on systems. Bottom line, there's just too many came. But when you get families and couples or individuals that do it right, that do the work, and end up becoming citizens, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and now we're working on getting her son, like a family reunion. He's an older guy and stuff like that. Good guy. And it's taken, a little bit longer because we started the application in 2016 and we're still working on it. But at least he had a chance to come visit, and he's a good guy, and he'll be a plus to America. And that is taking longer than it took for her. Well, like I said, it's a part of the system, but we're doing the paperwork. We're not the richest, and we're paying the money, but we wanted to do it the right way because I don't like looking over my shoulder.
That's part of the key.
9 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Great point, man.
Hold on. Did she correct you in the background there?
Yeah, she said 9 years. We've been trying to work on getting her son here. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
I appreciate her being on as well. Well,
you're the best.
Johnny, always great to hear from you.
Have a great day,
Thank
man.
you.
That was cool.
Johnny Denver, his line is open, but we're going to be wrapping here. You can quickly jump in here. Jacqueline was going to join us, but I think
she was. I think
she's gone back down to the text messages.
Yeah, she has.
Well, it's been a great show. If you missed any of it, go to 710knus.com to download the podcast. We're on the eve of a government shutdown. Will you even notice tomorrow morning?
Good question,
and
my
who
friend.
do you blame? And who needs to negotiate?
Yeah,
Republicans, Democrats?
Yeah, I think the blame, the negotiation factor is going to be interesting. Who's going to, again, they're both going to point fingers. So what do we see coming out of this? And the one thing I want our audience to listen to is either side sound like they're willing to compromise to get a deal? Standing there, all of us have had that toddler throwing that fit. No, I want, give me, are our politicians going to sound like that 3-year-old throwing a fit in the middle of the kitchen floor? Or are they going to behave like responsible adults and talk about how maybe there should be a compromise on the way? I don't know. We'll have to see.
Illegal immigrants are also self-deporting because the work is drying up. That good news or bad news for Colorado? If you missed any of it, it's all at 710knus.com. You can download the podcast there. Tomorrow, we got big news.
Big news?
Yep.
What is it?
Victor Marks is going to be joining us during the 8 o'clock hour.
Wow.
He's got a big announcement tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh.
Bigly, and he's joining us the morning before he goes out and
Are you trying to say, is he going to show up with one of those giant novelty checks and maybe there's champagne and we get $1 million
but he has
for the
this
rest
great
of
dog that goes around with him.
Okay, that's okay then. If it's not a big novelty check, I'll take a good dog. That's okay. I'm excited now.
It's one of those Malamutes.
Oh, Malamutes? Oh,
Malamutes.
Oh, how cool.
Is that it? I think so.
Malamutes, yeah.
They're
those are
like
fantastic.
German Shepherds, but smaller.
Yeah, those are fantastic.
Those are cool dogs.
Wonderful dogs.
So he's got a big news-making announcement tomorrow with regards to potential run for governor. And he's going to be joining us during the 8 o'clock hour.
So that's good. So he's not going to announce a citizen's arrest and try to deport me? As most of the text messages want. No? Not it? Okay, good. I feel I'm going to sleep better tonight. Thank you.
So thank you to everybody that joined in the conversations. Thank you to everybody that texted. And even the guy that joined the personal story.
Yeah, that was cool. Thank you, man.
Thank you for that and being so honest. Appreciate that. All right. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
Where else are you going to find a show like that? Only here, KNUS.